you for clicking on my video. I'm Sharon from Grace's Neighbor Sharon, and I hope you enjoy today's projects. Let's get to crafting. This video is part of the We Gift You a Merry Christmas Open Challenge. This challenge is hosted every month with a different theme and a different title. And our lovely ladies that host are Chantel from Crafty Hints, Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, and Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY. Show them some love. Their channel links will be in my description box below, as well as a link to the playlist. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, project number 1 is some citrus and cinnamon potpourri. Yes, I know potpourri is a little bit old-fashioned, but I like the rustic appearance of it, as well as the aroma. So I found some mandarin oranges in the bottom of our fridge, and I sliced up 2 of them, just random shapes and thicknesses. I wanted to make them interesting as well as pleasant smelling. I set them on parchment on a cookie sheet, and I preheated my oven to 250. And you'll notice it's 343 there. So I put the cookie sheet in the oven, but at 4:30 I had to go out. And I was gone for about 2 hours. I turned the oven off before I left, and when I came back and opened the oven, this is what I found. So they don't look that great and they don't smell that great. But I did not want to do them again. So what I did is I got them, they were stuck on the parchment paper. So I got them off the parchment paper. I picked out my favorites, and then I took the darker ones and trimmed off the good parts. And that gave me like some half pieces and smaller pieces. And I figured that looked visually interesting in the jars. So I wasn't totally mad about it. Now I have a bag of lemon potpourri, you'll see on the left of your screen there, and that was purchased from Dollar Tree for $1.25. I got that whole big bag, and it is lemon scented and it smells great. So I knew it would smell nice with the mandarin slices and the cinnamon, and it does. I put the lemon potpourri in my jar first, and then I take my cinnamon sticks that I can't break, and I take the lemon, not the lemon slices, the mandarin slices, and I put them, like kind of poke them on the edges, so when you look at the jar, you can see my ingredients and not the Dollar Tree lemon ingredients. I made a Walmart trip, and I purchased some Waverly fabric while I was there, and I just cut out a random circular shape and just made sure it was bigger than the size of the lid, and then I put the fabric right on top of the jar, and then I put the outside edge of the lid down on the fabric, and it didn't want to turn or twist, but it did just kind of pop down on it. Now you can use the same fabric and make yourself a pair of potpourri jars, or you could do a different fabric like you'll see in a minute and make it look, you know, like you have different ones on different tables. Or you could even change out your fabric for the different seasons. So you could take a Christmas fabric, or you could take a spring fabric. I had a spring fabric, but I chose not to use it. And I'll give you a better look at the final reveal. Okay, project number 2 is colorful rice aromatherapy, just like making a rice sachet or some sensory play rice for a toddler. The recipe I'm using calls for 1 cup of rice, 2 tablespoons of rubbing alcohol, and then 5 to 10 drops of food color and 10 drops of essential oil. So there's the essential oil, and I'm starting with the lavender, and then I chose purple for the food color. I start with 5 drops, end up mixing in 5 more. Once I've got the essential oil and food color mixed up, I add it to the rice and stir it up real good, but I realized it's just not going to take on the color. And since the recipes I was looking at called for mixing them up in a Ziploc bag, I went ahead and scooped it out of the bowl and into the Ziploc bag. And then once it was in the Ziploc bag, it absorbed the color really nice. So I just started in a bowl so you guys can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to do the exact same thing with the 3 other essential oils. I purchased the essential oils at Walmart, and it was a package of 3, lavender, tangerine, and lemon. So I'm actually going to do 3 batches, 1 for each essential oil. And then that is a Dollar Tree disposable cookie sheet, the one with the little bumpies on it. I always buy a bunch of those and have them in my stash and use them for a lot of other different crafts. But it came in quite handy for this project. And what I need it for is actually just to spread the rice out so it can dry. So I'll do the exact same thing with all 3 batches. So I sealed it up in the Ziploc bag, squeezed out the air, and then just mashed it around. And it took on the purple really nice. And I was happy with it. I opened the Ziploc bag, poured it out onto the cookie sheet, and then used the bottom rounded edge of a spoon to thin it out on the cookie sheet. And then set it aside and onto the next batch. So I'm going to do the exact same thing with the next color. A cup of rice, 10 drops of tangerine essential oil, and 5 to 10 drops of food color. Mash it around in the Ziploc bag. Dump it onto the cookie sheet, and then use the bottom rounded edge of a spoon to thin it out, and set it aside. And you could probably do a little bit more than a cup. You could probably get away with 1.5 cups at those same measurements. And it's pretty organic process. You can add a little more, a little less as you go. The last batch is green food color with the lemon essential oil. Exact same thing as before. These dried in a couple hours, but I actually left them overnight just to make sure I wouldn't get any color or alcohol on my hands. You can use a funnel to get it into the jar like I did there, or just use your measuring cup and pour it in like you see there. And this is pretty organic here, and you just kind of go with the flow. I decided to put the floral fabric with the purple, and that's fabric that I purchased from Walmart. It's Waverly, and it's the same as the fabric that I used in the previous project. I bought like 3 yards, one pattern for each yard. I also filled up those salt and pepper shakers there that you saw, and those don't need fabric on top since there's holes in the lid, so I just filled them up, put the lids on, and then used some lace for embellishment. The lace I had actually ripped off, some burlap and lace, Dollar Tree ribbon. And then decided to do one more here at the end with the purple and a different fabric on top. And then I'll give you a good look at these during the final reveal. Okay, so project number 3 is the basket assembly. So this is some Waverly fabric that I purchased on my Walmart trip. And instead of trying to figure out the measurements, I just draped a Dollar Tree basket with the fabric and then trimmed around it. And then I'll sort of trim as I go. Again, this is another organic process. I just trim it for now so I can work with it. And then I'll trim it again at the end. So I have some shreds, paper shreds that I save, and I just keep them in a big bag and pull them apart, put some air in them, and I just keep poking shreds in as I go. Here's the cinnamon and mandarin potpourri. There's the salt and pepper rice aromatherapy. I also have little not Dollar Tree, bottle brush trees that I got off Amazon, and also a wood tree shape that I purchased at Walmart. It's supposed to be like a name tag holder for the Christmas dinner. I also have a bottle brush wreath, a little tiny mini wreath that I'll glue on top of the wood tree. And I'm going to pop in a couple more of those bottle brush trees, and those were purchased on Amazon. I also have a bag of Christmas florals that I've used in the past, so they're already trimmed. And I just sort of poke them here and there. Each flower is a little bit different. Some have gold, some have white trim, some have gold in the middle. And I just sort of poke them in there where I think they look good. I'll finish it off with a pitberry garland, and I'll give you a better look at the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.